Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo 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 Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Naranam Namaskritya Naram Shivanavottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye. Четем от Шримад Бхагаватам, 11 песен, 14 глава, текст 31. Шри Удавалача Ятхатвам Аравиндакша Ядрашам Ваяд Атмакам Дхяен Мумукшуре Танме Дхянам Твам Вактум Архаси. Шри Удава каза: Ятха, по този начин, Твам ти Аравинда Акша, о скъпи лотосоки Кришна. Ядрашам, на каква специфична природа? Ва или ядатмакам, в каква специфична форма? Дхаят, трябва да медитира. Мумукшу, този, който желая освобождение. Ета, това. Ме, на мен. Дхянам, медитация. Твам, твой или ти. Вактум, да говориш или обясниш. Архаси, трябва. Превод. Шри Удава каза: мой скъпи лотосоки Кришна, чрез какъв процес човек, който желая освобождение, трябва да медитира върху теб? Върху каква специфична природа неговата медитация трябва да бъде и каква форма, върху каква форма трябва да медитира? Моля те, обясни ми тази тема за медитация. Пояснение. Както беше подробно обяснено от Върховния Бог, че безлюбовно, беше вече подробно обяснено от Върховния Бог, че безлюбовно предано служение, отдавано на Него, в общуването на предани, никой друг процес на себепознание няма да работи. Затова може да се запитаме защо Удава отново се връща към системата за медитация, дхяна. Ачарите обясняват, че човек не може напълно да разбере красотата и съвършенството на бхакти йога, докато не види нейното предимство пред всички други процеси. Чрез сравнителен анализ преданите стават напълно екстатични в тяхното оценяване на бхакти йога. Също трябва да разберем, че макар Удава да пита за тези, които се стремят към освобождение, той всъщност не е мукшо или желаещ освобождение, а по-скоро той пита тези въпроси, задава тези въпроси за благото на всички, които не са на нивото на любовта към Бога. Удава желае да чуе това знание, за да може лично да го оцени и така, че тези, които преследват освобождение или спасение, да бъдат защитени и пренасочени към пътят на чистото предано служение на Бога. Redirected. And let's go back to the previous verse just to remember what Krishna said. And maybe you can comment on that. All kinds of suffering and bondage arising from various attachments, none is greater than suffering and bondage arising from attachment to women and intimate contact with those attached to women.
No comment.
No, but I just thought about it because that's in Dwarka. It was full of women.
Mm-hmm.
Of course.
Everywhere.
Okay, so here it was explained that yes, a stri or here yoshit is something which is an object of enjoyment, as a symbol of the object of enjoyment. Of course, I mentioned yesterday that Krishna is speaking to Uddhava with the goal that Uddhava goes to Badrikashrama to teach the sages. And obviously this will be one of the things. Just stay alone from the opposite gender. That's an instruction, because that's the ultimate object of enjoyment. And before that, he said, it's only by meditation on me one can cross, one can extinguish the fire. You are there, right? So, and then there was in the purport, or maybe you were not there, that first, that's the small fires of jnana and yoga, other methods of purification also purify, but they're small, and then they can be extinguished. They could be extinguished by desires. Yeah, suddenly the desire can appear again, and the small fires dwindle. So Krishna said, only by meditation on me. And now in this verse today, okay, I want to know what is this meditation. Of course, when it says dhyana, Krishna spoke already of dhyana as something separate from bhakti. And here the acharyas, that's why explaining the purport that is it he refers back Uddhava to the impersonal liberation and mumukshu, those who desire moksha, and he's referring to dhyana of Brahman. But two things was mentioned, that he's not mumukshu, but he wants to appreciate bhakti yoga by asking this question, and also for the benefit of those who are mumukshu. It's good to hear. But we can also take it that mumukshu is general, devotees also, they don't, this was what yesterday mostly we discussed, that what is pure devotional service, that there is no any tinge for selfishness, not even desire for personal liberation. But devotees who are conditioned like us, they don't want liberation. And that Prabhupada says in different places, you must desire to go back to Godhead. Mm-hmm. You must have some disgust. Unless one is disgusted with the material world, one cannot take up spiritual life. There was one lady who was last summer, the previous, working here. She was very interested, coming regularly. And she couldn't handle this point that, no, the world is so nice. It's so beautiful. Everything is love. What is this disgusting, especially like Kunti Devi? I had it enough. I cannot stand anymore. Please tell me. I cannot deal with this senses and mind. And she's like, why? She's disgusted. This is, you cannot, there's nothing to be disgusted in this world. Prabhupada says, no, we have to be disgusted. And that's a kind of stimulus for going back. But the more we become purified, we still remain kind of, this place is a garbage. There's nothing to do here, unless we serve Krishna for a specific purpose. Therefore, for our purpose is just that. And therefore, we want to serve Krishna. And the best place, the best environment is, of course, the spiritual world, because you have a better, of course, first is the best association, the best servants, and also the substance there. It just doesn't fall apart. For Krishna, it doesn't matter what kind of, for him is the same energy. Whether you offer him a spiritual apple or a material apple, for him is the same. For us, it's not, because the apple becomes rotten here. There, it's not rotten. And here we have to polish again and again utensils. There we don't have to, because there's no decay, but we do still polish and still make everyday garlands. Or if they don't with the garlands, we don't need one eternal garland. Every day we give it to Krishna. Every day we clean, every day we make garlands, but it's so blissful, and because we just offer show our feelings to Krishna like that, and he takes it, and then we do so many things. We sing and we dance and we do for Krishna so many things, and he's so happy, and he in reciprocation gives us also different things. He gives his garland or his jewels, and then we are also very happy. Where
Say, what? I should do all these things. I don't feel it. In spiritual about
cleaning, working, cooking. Taking care of gardens to maintain. There's a huge in Goloka Vrindavan. There is a huge organization for flower gardens and all that. Gopis and Vrindadevi, the forests and the flowers also, and the bushes. They are all alive. They give their flowers consciously. For Krishna, sometimes out of season. Of course, there the seasons changes according to the mood, not by the push of time, relentless time. But anyway, so they give and devotees take care, so that they bring flowers and all that. Yeah, we can't imagine this because we are egoistic here. If I want, that's the point here of mumuksha. It depends what's your motivation. If you want to serve Krishna, you're so eager to serve, then that's natural that you end up in that place where the service is you can directly serve, and then you're happy. But if you want, I just want escape. And then when you go there, what? I'm supposed to do something here. I just have to enjoy, I earn it. I worked so hard. I chanted in Kali Yuga. You know what that means? To chant in Kali Yuga and to follow the principles, restrict. I did the impossible. So I earned my place. So where's my Chintamani Palace? My Vimana latest. Vladnana says, where's the internet? What's the password? But there's no password, no problem. Okay. Open up. Yeah. So this type of mumuksha is not encouraged, but mumukshu for us, even if, that was what we said yesterday, which was for Milena was a very soothing conclusion. And we wished her for her birthday yesterday that she develops in this lifetime, this pure devotional service of having the desire to serve Krishna only without a tinge of any other desire. So according to Rupa Goswami, that's the standard of Uttama Bhakti. And if we do devotional service even the stage of sadhana bhakti with that goal, that's also considered pure devotional service. So, but that should be our goal. So then she was very happy. Oh, okay. So even I may have my imperfections and desires, but if that's my final goal, it's still Krishna takes it as pure devotional service. So while we're on that stage of sadhana bhakti, still with imperfection, but our goal is pure, then we definitely want to liberate ourselves. We have some mumuksha, but we want to liberate from, get free from the obstacles, anarthas, which are, in front of us to reach that pure devotional service and practice. We want to get rid of this. So that's not selfish. That's why we pray, like Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains. And he has a whole prayer for Nrsimhadev in Navadvip. In one of his works there, he has prayers for Nrsimhadev. I remember there was a devotee who was, we were talking and he was asking some books of the Goswamis and some Leelas and things like that. And then, we were talking and he was like completely only hearing Leela and what is the name, Rasika stuff. And then I told him, I have Nrsimhadev. What? You worship Nrsimhadev? What is this? Our goal is Radha Shyam. I said, no, Bhaktivinoda Thakur worships Nrsimhadev, and he has prayers for that, and that's the idea. He prays to that form of Krishna who is removing our obstacles to serve Radha and Krishna. Who are we to go and to Radha Krishna? Here is, that's me. Are you ready for me to say? We can't even think, we can't understand anything about their relationship, anything of nothing. We are just completely ignorant and selfish, full of anarthas. But then we pray. We at least theoretically understand, oh, this is wonderful. We want to follow our acharyas. They show us such a perfect example. What means pure devotional service? So that maybe we are attracted from that. And if we follow, then they pray. Nrsimhadev is the one who Vigna Vinasha. He removes obstacles to pure devotional service. So we pray to him, please, kindly, to remove these imperfections, these contaminations in the heart. Like in the small booklet, I think by Janani Prabhu, about stories with Ugra Nrsimhadev in Mayapur. And there is one story of a Mataji who prayed, please purify me. And then she had a dream, and Nrsimhadev goes like that within her heart. And they extract something really dirty. You see? What to do with this? Something like that was the story. What to do? Oh, please take it away. So we pray, please clean my heart, but gently.
Like a sandwich.
Please purify me, but gently, not too harsh, not too fast. Or at least it's purify me now, but gently. It's not like Augustine, Saint Augustine, before he became a saint. He was a very sensual. His mother was a Christian, very pious. She trained him, but in his youth, he just went for life. Whatever parties they had at that time in Rome, he was completely to that. And at one point, he realized it by a powerful preacher. There was the bishop there of Rome. What was his name? It was really huge and very strong preacher. So he convinced him, okay, I have to go back, but he still was attached. So he prayed, my dear Lord, please save him, but not yet. But at one point he really, that's it, went in a monastery. He never left till his death, just writing. Krishna gave him a lot of interesting inspirations.
With the woman.
Yeah.
The same instruction.
Yeah. So please purify us. That's why we pray. Because that's Krishna in that mood. He likes to care, likes to protect, likes to clean, to remove things which are obstacles, demoniac mentality, demoniac desires. And then we gradually, that stage we want to get rid of. That's a kind of desire for being liberated from these obstacles, but not just to, finally, I don't suffer, but just to be able to serve purely. That's a desire, which is not a desire for just liberation. And that falls in that category of Lord Kapila. He says, my pure devotees, they never desire the 5 kinds of liberation. Sometimes there's some impersonalists, they don't appreciate. They think there is just one liberation, that's it, the real one, the impersonal. Yeah, there are devotees, we acknowledge that. That's fine, that's Saguna Brahman manifested with Mayic form for the devotees to worship.
Just the beginning.
Yeah, but then you transcend, and that's the real thing. The real thing is impersonal relation, and then but they don't have this idea, and obviously they don't accept Bhagavad Purana's conclusion that no, pure devotees, they don't care. not just for impersonal liberation, even for the personal liberations, 5 kinds. 4 of them are sarshti, samipya, salokya, same opulence, same place, same planet, same quality. So, same bodily features. They don't want this, my devotees, but still they want to, as a final goal, but still they want to get rid of the obstacles. So that's kind of desire to be liberated from unnecessary things. And dhyana, meditation, usually that's what it means. Meditation is the other type of process, is dhyana yoga. Yoga actually means dhyana. That's always has been in all the Shastra. But here also we can take it that this is what Krishna says. We have to think on me. We have to remember me. We have to meditate on me. So Buddha was asking, okay, how can I meditate? In what form? That's also interesting. Yad atmakam and yadrisham. What kind of specific nature and form? Which is interesting because Krishna told him, in the previous verses, a couple of times, on me. And he is speaking. So, and he's calling him, you, my Lord, the lotus-eyed Krishna. In what form I should meditate on you? So do you want to hear what Krishna answered? Yeah? Maybe don't want that. Шри Бхагавану Вача. Върховната божествена личност каза, саме имаш равна повърхност. So it starts interesting, having a level surface. Same. 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 But already in the previous verses and chapters, it was really interesting that Uddhava asked something very kind of simple, and Krishna starts really with something from far, some story. And so here again, okay, what form is that? Имаш същата равна повърхност. Асане на място за сядане. Асина, седейки, сама кая, стоящ с изправено тяло. Сама кая. Ядха сукам. Седнал удобно. Сукам. Щастлива поза. Is there a asana, sukha asana? I think there is a sukha asana. Anyway, that's the definition of asana according to Patanjali. It's sitting comfortably, sukha. So, стоящ удобно, стал в двете ръце, утсанге на скута, адхая, поставяйки, сванаса агра, в върха на агра, значи връх, а наса нос, нос. Сванагра, сва значи собствено, в собствения връх на носа. Крита, фокус. Икшана, поглед. Okay. Концентрираме се върху погледа върху върха на носа. So Krishna says that. Does Krishna says that in Bhagavad Gita also? Okay, where else he says one should meditate? One is in the 6th chapter, or is in the tip of the nose. Where else? That's in the 8th chapter also. Yeah, where? Also the how we call that? Yeah, your what is it? Yeah, your glance. Yeah, at the end of life, one who is focusing his eyes on that and thinking of me will leaving the body like that, will go to the place, will never return. So which we are concerned here, between the eyebrows. So 2 places recommended, either here or here. Междурежието, така. Крита се съсредоточава, икшана погледа, пранася на дишането, шодхаят трябва да пречисти, маргам пътя. Пура кумбака речака. Okay. Чрез механично упражнение на дишането или пранаяма. Пура значи пълен, кумбака значи задържане, а речака значи издишане. И тук пълно задържане на издишането. Спира да диша. Okay. Випа райена, като обръща процеса, а именно речака, кумбака и пурака. Апи също шанай, следвайки процеса стъпка по стъпка. Абхясе, човек трябва да практикува пранаяма. Нирджета, след като овладял, индрия сетивата. Превод. Върховната божествена личност каза, като стои на равно място, което не е твърде високо, нито твърде ниско. И не мога. It's not very high in the mountain. Keeping the body straight, държащ в тялото си изправено и въпреки това удобно, като постави двете си ръце в скута си и съсредоточи очите си във върха на носа. Или съсредоточи погледа във върха на носа. Човек трябва да пречисти пътя на дишането, като практикува механичното упражнение на пурака, кумбака и речака. И тогава човек трябва да обърне процеса на речака, кумбака и пурака. Така напълно владял сетивата, може да практикува пранаяма стъпка по стъпка. Okay, so what would I ask? On what form and what nature I should meditate? Krishna says first you sit down comfortably and then you focus on the tip of your nose and then you do pranayama. Пояснение. Според тази процедура, ръцете трябва да се поставят с длани нагоре. Една върху друга. В скута. Така човек може да практикува пранаяма чрез механичният контрол на дъха, за да постигне устойчивост на ума. Както се казва в йога шастра, антар лакшу бахир дръжти стира чета сусангата. Очите, които обикновено гледат навън, трябва да бъдат обърнати навътре. И така умът да се успокои и напълно владее. Дланите трябва да са така обърнати. So, do you understand what means to reverse the pranayama? From puraka kumbhaka rechaka to become rechaka kumbhaka puraka. No?
Opposite.
But there is a pranayama which is called exactly that. It's called pratilom vilom. Means the opposite one. You turn it the opposite. The point is that the rechaka and kumbhaka, normally when we breathe, we don't actually keep the breath. We don't exercise kumbhaka. And our breathe out is not complete. It's just shallow. But with training on the pranayama, which kind of keeps the mind, steadies the mind, you first double the kumbhaka and rechaka compared to the breathing in. You breathe in and then you double. You keep it and then you breathe out double the time. And then you make it 4 times the kumbhaka and 2, and then you make it 8 times you retain, and 4 times you breathe out. So that's the reverse. You really keep it until you increase so much kumbhaka that it's basically at the end it's just stop breathing, and then the mind stops. And when the mind waves stop, what is the experience? Then you experience the self. That's Patanjali. Then he says Swarupa. sthiti, where you become aware of your own spiritual existence, your own spiritual nature. But first you have to work a lot to nirodha, chitta vritti nirodha, to really quiet down the waves of the mind. The waves of the mind. But first, even in his gradual system, as here it says, step by step, there is, yes, sense control, then breath control, and the mind control. But the first is like, already Krishna explained a lot about that. You gradually go to sattva, because that's what Patanjali also recommends. You cannot just stop the waves, Nirodha. You cannot just stop thinking, but you have to reduce the waves of the Rajaguna and Tamaguna. That you really have to work. And when you only the sattva waves, they're okay. Only the sattva waves remain. They're not really so much waves, because in sattva there is steadiness, there is peacefulness, there is knowledge, there is sukha, happiness, and then when the sattva waves are small, then becomes possible to focus, to keep the object, to keep it in the mind. That's dharana. Keep, dhara means keeping. And then dhyana comes, which means absorption and full absorption, samadhi. And then there are different levels of samadhi. And one is you're aware of your object. And of course, object is not just flowers, or especially objects of enjoyment is a spiritual object, some form of the absolute. Either it's impersonal, it's personal. And for example, Patanjali doesn't really give examples. He just says, the object of your meditation, when you're fully absorbed, that's samadhi. And then the next level, you're so absorbed that you forget yourself. First, you think that's me and that's my object. And, somebody nowadays can say, and they say, well, it's you meditate on yourself or you meditate on anything you like. It doesn't matter. But how do you know why you come up with that? No, I know what he means. No, we have to look at the commentators, the ones who were living at that time or after Patanjali, those who know the whole system and the whole, context of the system, because it's sutra. He just gives us simple points. So they say you meditate on spiritual object. And many, they say, one of them, I think either Vyasa or some of the others, they say you meditate on Vishnu in his form as a deity, as a murti. And that's, that's comments on that, how you reach samadhi. And first, that's a vastu, an object which you perceive with your material senses. But then even Shankara says that. Shankara also has a commentary on Yoga Sutras, Adi Shankara. And he says, and then the Lord reveals himself. And that's a spiritual realization. Then you perceive, not with material. So the point is you meditate on the Supreme Lord, and in Mahabharata and of course in Bhagavatam, that type of meditation is very clear, that you meditate on Krishna and on Paramatma, on the Vishnu form. So you meditate on the form, and then you're aware, it's me, and here is the Lord in the heart. Still, that's a samadhi. And then the next level of samadhi, he says, you're so absorbed in the object, which is a spiritual object, you forget about yourself. Do we have examples of that in Bhakti? Yes, they're in one of the most accepted manuals, which is much later in the. But these are the manuals for all the asanas and purificatory processes of yoga, and the pranayama and the mudras and all that. There are three manuals: Hatha Yoga Pradipika, Garanda Samhita, and the Shiva Samhita. So Garanda Samhita is specifically, it seems Vaishnava who wrote it, because even scholars admit it. He has praises of Vishnu in the beginning, and then he speaks of different types of samadhi. One is bhakti yoga samadhi, and they're external symptoms. And we read them of crying and standing the hair on end. But at one point, this samadhi, you forget about yourself. And this devotees, they experience that. Like we had the gopis. They were so completely absorbed in love of Krishna, in separation, they forgot themselves. They said, I'm Krishna. Well, that's a divan mala. It's a divine madness, and started playing in his roles. You are now Kaliya, and now I'll subdue you, and one gopi becomes like a snake, and the other is now Krishna. So you completely forget about yourself. Then there is really no way of selfishness, because you forget. It's just you are so absorbed. But in Bhakti Yoga, of course, that absorption is like, I want to do something. It's not just, I simply, that's also okay. But the Bhakti means I want to do something. Like one time a gentleman came to Prabhupada. I had a dream. I dreamt about Krishna, or Krishna. I saw Krishna in my dream. It's like, oh. And Prabhupada, and what did you do? And he was like, oh. He didn't know what to say, because that's the idea. I just saw Krishna. Okay, what's the big deal? What did you do? Did you serve him? How did you serve? So that's the point. And that's desire. Devotees want to not just see, of course they want to see, but also want to do something. And Prabhupada many times he says, and devotees, in their meditation, they expect Krishna to say, please do like that. Do something for me. Please fan me like this. Or give me something like that. I like it in this way. Devotee is very happy. Yes, Krishna wants it, especially in this way. So that's and then there's another level which Patanjali mentions. Then you forget about the object and yourself. And then there are really no thoughts. It's just awareness. That's the impersonal samadhi. I don't know what it is, but he doesn't also explain, but impersonalists, they really like it. There is no myself, there is no object. It's just awareness. But at least it's liberation. It's kaivalya, it's oneness. It's only me. There's not even me, but there is obviously there is a purusha there. There is idea of individual spiritual person. That's at least in yoga. It's not you become Brahman. It's just you become you really detach from Prakriti, and the Prakriti gives you the wrong idea of your wrong self. So when this is removed, Purusha is removed, it's Kaivalya. You're just alone, Purusha. No Prakriti means no suffering. Then you're completely happy, because the nature of Purusha is Ananda, bliss and eternity. But then it sounds really boring. You're just awareness. Of course, it's blissful because there was no suffering. The devotees prefer no problem. No problem, even if I go to hell. That's what Lord Shiva says. Narayana, Parayana, the devotees of Narayana. That's when his wife cursed Chitraketu for laughing at Lord Shiva. He was kind of made a joke. And Lord Shiva didn't say anything. The sages didn't say anything, but Parvati was, who do you think you are to joke with my husband? I curse you to become a demon. Chitraketu got off his plane, went down. My dear mother, I accept it. Please forgive. And then Lord Shiva, do you see now what are devotees of Narayana? They don't care. They can become a demon. They don't care. They're in heaven or hell. They don't. It's the same. As long as they serve. So we spoke about that already. That this is our charity. It was very interesting. This we read in the Chaitanya Bhagavat. It was argument by Lord Chaitanya. He asked Keshav Bharati. He said he likes to ask this question. He asked Advaitacharya, is jnana or bhakti higher? Advaitacharya, of course it's jnana. Without jnana, you cannot practice bhakti. Oh, how can you say that? And then they touch, finally, you show that you are the master, I am the servant. But Keshav said, of course, it's bhakti. And then Lord Chaitanya, I'm so happy you answered this question like that. But his arguments were, if it was jnana, why the best of the sages always ask and pray for bhakti? And then he gives examples, all the great devotees and Mahajans from Bhagavatam and other Shastras, they all pray for bhakti. Like Prahlad Maharaj and King Kulashekar and so many others, Narada, long list, they all pray for bhakti. If it's not the best, if it's inferior, why would they ask for that? And then there are so many prayers. No matter what happened, I just want to remember you and serve you, life after life. Okay, any comments also?
When I hear the word liberation, yes, Prabhupada made it very clear that as soon as you are immediately liberated. We like that expression, immediately liberated. As soon as you follow properly the process. I mean, it's always really, it kind of blows out any cobwebs of our holding back, the way we hold back them. You're immediately liberated, simply to follow this process properly. And that's why I have this fascinating topic, or kind of the motivation. I know my motivation is not right. And yet motivation is so important. It depends on your motivation, depends if but even with impure motivation, following properly the process, it doesn't care for your motivation.
Yeah.
So the process doesn't need it or care for, but obviously that's our job is to change the motivation. The work we have to do to move the motivation from I came because I was getting something, I wanted freedom from distress, to only pleasing Krishna. That's a tough process where I have to re-examine and constantly readdress the fact that I came with one motivation. Now I have to adjust my motivation to the Lord's pleasure, not mine. And I can see, even though externally the devotee is always liberated because he practices nicely, but that motivation adjustment, where my desires are also liberated, is a painful process. And yet when devotees, when we go through pain, we think, liberation, liberation. Liberation is for my better. So how do can we see, have we got ways to see ourselves that I obviously still desire liberation? Yeah. Every time things get a little distressful or a little uncomfortable or a little not what I want, I get annoyed, I get agitated. Oh, let me make this adjustment, let me do this, let me change this, let me change that, In many ways, these are little subtle ways we can see, I still desire peace. I don't desire to please Krishna. That's not my desire yet. I desire peace. And when things get too much or too difficult, no, this is all wrong. I want peaceful situation. And I know I'm very guilty of that. If the service, if it feels like it, that's too much. No, I need to change this. That's a manifestation of my desire for liberation. Because Krishna's not no need. I'm still embracing that I want a peaceful situation. My goal is not Krishna's pleasure, my goal is my peace. And therefore I still, in my heart, want liberation. I don't want bhakti. I don't want to the degree that's in my heart. And then how I address it, of course, depends if my motivation changes.
But Krishna says, without peace, you cannot be happy. And Krishna wants us to be happy. Yeah. That's how he's happy. So peace is.
But that when he says that peace, well, that's what one does not control one's senses, how can be one not regulate one's sense, peace of mind, that can't be peace, and how can be peace, that can't be happiness.
Yeah.
So, and
You're talking about freedom of pain, like peace.
And of course,
I don't want discomfort. I want it.
I don't want
this is a desire for liberation.
I don't want. I need to change. Anytime we think we embrace that, I need to change something. No, you don't. You don't really need to change it. But it's like that. I go back to that lady you referenced, right?
Disgust.
She's correct, but she's not correct.
Yeah. That's why I was explaining all the time.
Yeah.
All the time. That no, we don't hate the world. We don't disgust.
Yeah.
There is a feeling of some. It's not easy to understand it if you don't start to at least theoretically accept and experience that this is all Krishna's. It's Krishna's place anyway.
Yes. So a devotee can see and look at the beauty of the mountain. Look how it's
appreciate. Yeah.
So, but she's correct, but she's wrong. Because she needs to hear that.
Mm.
She needs to hear the disgusting.
Yeah.
And again, let's go back to the Sula Bhakti. It's correct what she's saying. The application is wrong.
Yeah.
She doesn't, she's obviously attached. And she needs to hear about the world, how it's not a nice place. And at some point, then that's an impetus to take more seriously close to Krishna. And then later on, yes, you will see the places. This is perfectly, Krishna is also beautiful. No problem. But right now, I need to hear about how attachment is bad and this is bad and the body is blood plus stool, urine, etc. I need to hear it because that's the point I'm at. The Shastras start from the level of somebody who's got no interest. It depends where you're at, what you need to hear. And most of us need to hear. And somebody who's going to make an argument for why should I hear that usually needs to hear that. Even though so the point is correct, the application is wrong in that case. So devotees liberation, so devotees, I mean, when we want to make a change, I need this. No, you don't really need it, but you do, but again, be honest, you do need to embrace it. And then understanding that, okay, this is where I'm at now, so I need to do it. But still always hearing about the idea. The idea is I don't really need to make this change. But for where I'm at, I do. And that honesty is that honesty again is important. And kind of practicing where I'm at, but always hearing the idea. So I see that myself. Anytime I want to make an adjustment, or this is too difficult, it's a desire for liberation, or I want my comfort as my priority. Not are you serving Krishna? Yeah. So then that's all you need to be worried about. No, I need to worry about myself a little too. And just on the point, Saint Augustine, and please purify me, but not too much. Or
not yet.
Not just yet. I always like the idea that if you do an exam, like tests in Krishna consciousness are very different from tests in the Karmi world. But when you do an exam, you have to prepare for the exam, right? And then you get the paper and you go, okay, I know this. But when Krishna gives an exam, he looks, as he's sitting, and he looks exactly what you know. Oh, this is what my devotee, he knows this, I just know it. He knows this, he doesn't know it. Okay. Then prepares the paper. Exactly.
It's individual
paper. And exactly based upon what you know. He prepares it personally knowing test. How you get 100%. He's preparing the exam so you pass 100%. That's what Krishna wants. He wants us. That's how he prepares the test. And yet, when you fail the test, then we get exposed, or we struggle with the test, or we fail at some level. Then we're confronted with the fact it's not the test, because it's not the situation. I'm confronted with the fact that I don't desire to go back to Godhead yet. I'm confronted with that desire. I want liberation. I want bhakti and mukti. Something. I want sense enjoyment, or I want liberation. And the failure, of course, not. Failure is an impetus to. There's no real failure if you take it in the right way. But that's so great. He's sitting in the heart, so there's no. He doesn't give us a test that we can't pass. We only don't pass it, or it's because we didn't want to.
Yeah, failure means we just stay. We don't move. we don't further advance. We won't lose it. We won't really. I mean, we can lose if we make big mistakes in terms of aparada. But otherwise, if they're just tests, which is according, as you say, exactly to the level, and we can. But if we don't take it, it means like, yeah, we still don't have the desire. We still something, and then we remain on that, and then Krishna will again give it. Same. In different forms, but the same until we pass it, and then another test comes, and that's how we advance. But we may be stuck for a long time, many years, sometimes lifetimes.
Yeah, and also the devotee. Probably the point is, devotee doesn't. He's not aware of himself. True spiritual kaivalya. Applying that to our, even though we're so much into the science of bhakti, we're really, that's one of the unique features. We know the science, the process, the symptoms that are required, not just it's very clear. But there is something to be said for, there's very likely that if I actually do become a little advanced, I'll never be conscious of it. Actual Krishna consciousness is not a conscious process. I won't, because the reason I'm conscious, now I'm going to become a little bit advanced. I must become impure now. That's the emphasis. That's the opposite of a Vaishnava mentality. So the real thing is an unconscious act, because I'm just conscious of Krishna. I'm no longer absorbed in how pure I am or how good I am, how bad. That's all subtle ahankara. But the actual, the real thing is like, we're unconscious at the beginning how Krishna conscious we are. In the middle, we're sort of conscious, the madhu. And the final state, we're again unconscious because we're actually fully Krishna conscious. We're not thinking, I'm Krishna conscious now. It's not that I'm Krishna conscious, but the I is the first. It's just Krishna. We're just absorbed in Krishna. So actually becoming purified, if I'm conscious of my purification, it means I'm pretty much still on a lower level, right? Which is okay. But when the real, I'm actually advancing, I won't be conscious of it. So I'll be still feeling the pain of what I've done. Anyway, just kind of haven't quite.
Yeah, this is one of these. Like it's, it seems completely. There seems to be like dichotomy, or they are the opposite, either this or the other. But like Prabhupada, he has many statements which seem completely contradictory. This is one. There's one class. He says we must be conscious how we're advancing. We devotees should be aware how they're making progress. Okay, and then another class, devotee never thinks he's advancing.
Yeah, that expression says a lot. And devotee never thinks this.
Yeah. Okay. Or the two disciples came to Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. We feel we're not advancing. He says, very good. If you have felt you're advancing, that's a problem. But at the same time, Prabhupada says, no, we have to feel that we advance.
Yeah, but it depends how exactly what he means by that, because it's not just a simple sentence.
Yeah. The point is, like you say, in the intermediate stage, when we are completely purified, yes, there is no awareness. I am devotee, I'm advanced. It's like we see the examples of how they express it now. In their songs, it's just complete absorption in love, and then there is dainya, which is part of it, which is really humbleness. Completely, I'm unworthy, and. But in the meantime, while we're working on our impurities, then we can see, I less struggle with this. Like Kama Prashan Maharaj says, at one point you feel, there are no strings, no attachments anymore. You feel it, wow. Then it's Krishna's mercy, it's not me. But you are aware of that. You were aware before you were really. You struggle, now you're less struggle. So that's what Prabhupada means. You yes, it's working.
Because and the point you're making, Prabhupada, I like use that expression, you test for yourself. No,
Yeah.
no one needs. There's no certificate, like in this context, but there's no certificate now. You're advancing. You see for yourself. Oh, there's the same sense object that previously I was really agitated. No, I'm not so agitated. Oh, I must be making some advancement.
Yeah.
That is there and probably didn't occur then.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm saying, but that's the point most of us should be happily at. But just at least theoretically, the point later on is that it becomes seriously advancing. That element won't be there. You're just thinking about Krishna. You're actually thinking about my advancement. And even to me, I say, like, even again, another list kind of like of questionable statements that we use in this one. I'm not very advanced. So what's that got to do with it? It's an excuse, and it's a dangerous excuse, because the implication is, because at some point I will be advanced, and then I will say yes. No, if you think you're advanced, then you're more disqualified. So we have some of these little no. Are you following or not? Are you? That's a problem. Back there. First of all, liberation. Are you following? If you're following, we're liberated. Get on with it. That's all. Probably really mostly kept it again. That's super simplicity.
Yeah.
If you're following, you're on the liberated platform. With the iron in the fire. You're spiritual, and he just hammered on that point.
Simple. Krishna is here. The light is there. He's not here. There's darkness. There's nothing left. So we are here now talking about Krishna. We're liberated. We walk out. Forget about that. There's then light comes. But otherwise, immediately liberated. It's simple.
Yeah. You're immediately liberated. Yeah. Probably. You're very strong about that.
Okay. Jai. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Jai.